invites you to be a part of this moment. Turksat, Space Age and Communications.
Yo.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.
We're just about 4.5 minutes from liftoff. Shortly, the transporter erector is going to retract to its pre-launch position.
My name is
You may
I'm
see
back
in a
here
few
with an
seconds here
unfashioned
the arms
today.
cradling
We
right
are
under those
here
fairings.
is
Watch those open up.
Spacex
What's going to happen is that TE is going to retract
T
about 2
minus
degrees from the
4
rocket from
minutes
vertical.
14 seconds.
And you can see right now those arms are
welcome
opening up
everybody.
just
Hopefully you
slightly.
guys
In a few seconds, you'll see those arms back off as the TE retracts.
Turn those notifications on. See?
And it's just,
oh shit.
Those 2 degrees is just a little bit of movement, but it's enough to clear the rocket to allow it to leave the pad. At liftoff, it's going to move to a position 45 degrees from the rocket. And you can see it's starting to retract a little slowly there. First stage fuel loading is complete, and we're currently awaiting for the first stage liquid oxygen loading to complete. And shortly after that, at about T-minus 2 minutes, the second stage's locks will also complete. One final big milestone before liftoff. You're going to hear the announcement that Falcon 9 is in startup mode. This announcement means that the rocket's own internal computers are now controlling the launch countdown on the Falcon 9. Once the engines are confirmed to be at full power, the flight computer, which is located on the second stage, will command the ground hold downs to release the rocket right at T-minus 0. The satellite team continues to monitor the status and health of the Turksat 5A payload located inside the fairing on the top of the second stage.
Hopefully they will launch.
Systems are go on the satellite.
So, Jimmy's.
In terms of range and weather, currently everything appears to be on track for an on-time launch. The range is green. We've been monitoring weather. The only primary concern we have is the cumulus cloud, thick cloud rule. But right now, conditions are looking favorable. The percent of violation is 30%. That means there's only a 30% chance of us postponing liftoff. So things are looking good. If for some reason we have a call on today's launch, we may be able to begin again within this launch window tonight. But we do have a similar 4-hour backup opportunity scheduled for tomorrow evening around the same time. But for now, all systems continue to be go for an on-time liftoff at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yay!
At this time, the LOX loading is complete. It just finished on the second stage, and that is the last milestone for propellant loading prior to liftoff. You're going to start seeing a buildup of white clouds emanating from the Falcon 9. That's perfectly normal. That's that excess liquid oxygen boiling when it's exposed to the ambient temperature of the air around the Falcon 9 fuselage.
Ground gas closeouts.
The first and second stage are beginning to pressurize for launch, and we're about 15 seconds away from that startup mode call-out.
Flight computer has entered startup.
We have confirmation of startup. We're just waiting for launch director's go for launch call out.
Turksat 5A, Falcon 9, LDs go for launch.
And you've heard it, we're 30 seconds away. All systems are go for an on-time launch of Falcon 9 with the Turksat 5A satellite, our first launch for this year.
30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Ignition. And liftoff.
Stage 1 chamber pressures are nominal.
vehicle is pitching downrange.
Welcome, Noah. Welcome. They just had their launch
Here
today.
we go. We're now 30 seconds into flight.
Woo.
On the Falcon 9, all engines are running at full power. We are preparing to enter through our first major milestone after liftoff, Max Q. It's going to occur at T plus 1 minute 12 seconds. We're going to throttle those engines down. We've confirmed nominal status from the avionics team. Next, Max Q. That's when the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of dynamic pressure. We throttle those engines down, and afterwards we throttle them back up to keep dynamic pressures below a certain
Falcon
level.
9 is supersonic.
I'm doing good. My fabric isn't working, so that's fine.
Max Q.
So
We've successfully crossed the Max Q threshold. Everything is looking good with the first stage's trajectory. Next, we're going to start our MVAC chill. This is going to help us prepare for the next 3 major events. They occur one after another. The first one, those 9 Merlin 1D engines are going to cut off. That's known as MECO, or main engine cutoff. Right after that, the first and second stage will separate, and then the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will turn on. That's known as SES-1. About 15 seconds away from throttling down those Merlin 1D engines, you'll start to see that visual change and that plume you see on the screen.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
All right, all good news here. We had successful main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start 1. Our next milestone is fairing deployment. Those 2 fairing halves on the top of the second stage are no longer needed, and we'll jettison them to help expose the Turksat 5A satellite to space and attempt to recover those later on.
Second stage is on a nominal trajectory.
Let's see how I'm actually not.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And you saw there, we just jettisoned our 2 fairing halves. It's our first good view of Turksat 5A. It's now exposed to space, and those 2 fairing halves are heading back down to sea level. For those of you just joining, we're 4 minutes into flight on today's mission of carrying the Turksat 5A satellite to its intended orbit on the Falcon 9. We're currently in the first of 2 planned